Questions on it, or you see it now? Okay. They match, don't they? Then you're done. You just have to make the two sides the same. You might pick something complicated, but it can still work. Okay. All right, guys, last set of notes in skill 6. Yay! Guys, I will tell you up front, you are not going to like the half angle formulas as much as the double angle. Just giving you a heads up. So sine of theta over 2. It's called the half angle because I'm cutting it in half. This is equal to plus or minus big square root 1 minus cosine of theta all over 2. As I said, it's not one of your favorite formulas. Yes. That's why it's called half angle. Cutting it in half. Half your angle. Okay, cosine of theta over 2. Again, plus or minus big square root 1 plus cosine theta over 2.
Sine and cosine will never be a sine under the
Correct. It's all cosines with these. Okay, then tangent of theta over 2. We know tangent is sine over cosine, right? So the formula for this, it's actually just the sine 1 over the cosine 1. And when you simplify that, it's 1 minus cosine theta over 1 plus cosine theta. Give me a second to jot those down. Guys, you only have to know one of these. There are other options for tangent of theta over 2. You could use sine of theta over 1 plus cosine. Yes, it's definitely easier. Sorry, I'm just writing out what the other one would be. Or you could do, there is another one. You could do 1 minus cosine theta over sine of theta. So those are all equivalent. The ones I wrote in green, I feel like the one in blue is easiest to remember because it's just the other two, right? Like, so I think that's the easiest to remember. But in the problems, the green ones are actually easier because you don't have the plus or minus to deal with, and you don't have the square root to deal with. So we'll do some problems with all of them, and you'll see. Can you guys read that okay? Okay. Give you a second here, and then we'll jump in and try some.
If it's in the denominator, whether it's stuck in the green, it's got the plus.
Mm-hmm. And I derived both of those by multiplying by conjugates. That's where they come from. If you're wondering why those are equivalent, we can prove it. Okay, our first problem. We are going to find the sine of 22.5 degrees. I know you've been just dying to know what the sine of 22.5 degrees is. So today's the day, guys. There's a lot of bells today. We got bonus lunch bells because they're all like different bells.
We get out.
Well, and when you're getting, like, when B lunch got released was before you guys had to be back from A lunch. Normally that's at the same time. Today it's like overlapped by 5 minutes, so they're doing a bell to end, like to start B lunch, and a bell to end A lunch, and so that's why we're getting all the extra bells. Yes, I always liked it when there was like, oh, lunch has ended, you have 5 minutes, you know, to get back to class. This year it's hard, I know. Now, yeah. Today's the day. I don't care. I'd rather, like, you know that lunch has ended, or if you're not in the cafeteria, like, it's that reminder of like, oh, yeah, I have to go back to class. Yeah. All right, guys, sine of 22.5. We're obviously using the sine formula for this one, right? So let me write the sine of theta over 2. I'm just writing the formula, helps you remember it. Plus or minus big square root 1 minus cosine theta all over 2. All right, guys, pay attention. Step 1, write the formula. All right.
There'll never be a sign under the square root.
The 8th, Wednesday. It is. This is the last set of notes before your test. Yep. Yes. I will post like what it's going to look like and the key to it for you on Schoology today. Okay.
So if you get one wrong, is it bad?
You gotta come take it again. All right, guys. First thing we're gonna do is decide if we should be using the plus or the minus, okay? It's not that the answer is both positive and negative. You have to pick which one is it. So the question says, what is the sine of 22.5 degrees? So we need to know, where is 22.5 degrees? Okay, quadrant 1, right? Is sine positive or negative in quadrant 1? Okay, so we are picking positive. the second thing you have to figure out, what is theta? The 22.5 degrees, that's theta divided by 2. Okay, so theta over 2 is 22.5 degrees. What is theta?
45.
Yes. Okay. Is 45 something you actually know from your units report? Yes. You should. If you go, oh, theta is 17 pi over 13, you messed up somewhere, okay? Like, it has to be something you actually know from your circle. All right, so then I'm going to plug it in. So I'm going to write 1 minus the cosine of 45 degrees all over 2. From here, you're just simplifying, okay? It's positive. I don't care if you write the plus in front the rest of the way. You don't really need it. It's up to you. But let's evaluate. So I've got 1 minus, what is the cosine of 45 degrees? 2 over 2. And then this is all over 2. Keeping your work organized will help you. Writing neatly, legibly. Make sure you can read what you're doing. All right, the 1. Are you guys okay with me making that 2 over 2?
Maybe.
Yes. Why would I need to do that? Common denominator, right? I need to combine those. So let's think about this. I'm going to have 2 minus root 2 all over 2. Now, the 2 in the denominator, the lowest denominator, I know there's a lot of denominators here, that's really 2 over 1, right? When I'm dividing by a fraction, what can I do? So I'm going to write times 1/2 to take care of that. Now let me stop there for a minute. Make sure you're with me. Get caught up on writing it down.
Wait, what did you just make the... Oh, I know.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You guys see where the 1/2 came from? That's the part people usually are like, well, what? Why is there a half there?
Just that two. Give me a full credit.
And then I'll question you on why there's a half.
This 2, right? You see that 2? That's been this 2 the whole way through. Dividing by 2 is the same as multiplying by a half. Okay, so that's all I did. Is just
So look at that two that's in that fraction.
there's so many 2's,
The,
right?
the bottom two.
This 2?
In the last one.
Well, it only
Yeah,
makes
well,
sense
that-
because
well,
you're
that's
just
no
like flipping.
What does that say?
No.
That stays in.
Wait, but then why did it say that? I'm in.
2. Switch 2.
Wait, then why does it have?
What happened to the...
Okay,
Why did it say that?
we're good with this one.
Yeah.
Okay, cosine of 45 is root 2 over 2. This 2 is this 2. This 2.
Yeah.
This 2. This 2. That's 2. Okay. The 1 I turned into 2 over 2 so that I could combine these.
Oh, it's 2 over 2. I see.
So that 2, that numerator, minus that numerator, all over, those 2 have the same denominator. Okay.
So,
Divided by this 2 is now multiplied by 1/2.
oh my. Genius.
Okay.
Genius.
That's genius.
You see it? Well, it's so many 2's. I know. It's like, well, where's that 2? A lot of 2's. Heather. What do you mean? This 2? No, that doesn't cancel out with anything. You're going to multiply straight across. Nothing has canceled at this point, okay? Are we okay? Anybody else be like, going, there's too many 2's, I still don't see it. It's okay. You what? So we're okay to here. Okay, we're just going to multiply. So your numerator is still 2 minus root 2. What is your denominator now? 4. Okay. What is the square root of 4? 2. So your answer is square root of 2 minus root 2 all over 2.
Is that okay to do square root inside of this square root?
Yep.
Why is it okay? Yeah, why?
Why wouldn't it be? That's like 2 minus 2 to the 1/2 all to the 1/2. That's what that means.
You can have it.
You can do that. All right, let's wait here a second. Make sure we're okay. Yeah.
I don't understand how you could just multiply the bottom by 2 and nothing else.
So how do fractions work? Like if I have 2/3 times 4/5, what is that?
8.
Okay, but I only multiplied the 3 by the 5. Why didn't I multiply anything else by the 5?
Because first it really sets up.
Let's make it 1/5.
Then what if you get the 1/2?
Okay, this 2 over 1 dividing by 2 over 1 is the same as multiplying by 1/2.
Keep change flip.
And then I just multiply straight across, so the numerator gets multiplied by 1. Yeah, you see it now? That's what I want you to ask, guys. If you're not seeing it, tell me, okay? You see it? Okay. It's not tedious at all, guys. All right, other questions on the first one? Yes, we're done with 1. Woo! You what? 4. 3 more.
Dude, I used to do like this increases so
Okay, number 2.
No, I don't think.
We see.
All right, guys. Jot this one down. Number 2.
Wow. 0.
Chris, you got it written down? Do you guys see how this one's different than the last one? Yeah.
Our last unit and this unit.
It's a triangle one, right? We drew no triangles in the previous question, okay? So this is a triangle problem. There's multiple ways I can ask you these questions, so I have to show you all of those ways. We are drawing a triangle for this one, guys. Why? Why are you done? Nope. Not a choice. No, there's just a pep rally. That's all.
Yeah, it's a fun pep rally. SGA works for fun.
Are you an upstairs pep rally or a downstairs pep rally?
I don't know what the pep rally is.
What do you have 7th period? Where are you? You are the
I'll
first.
actually leave it.
You're downstairs? Upstairs, then you go to the second one. You go to the end of the day one. You go back to your class and have class. You have 7th period. That will be interesting, getting people back and doing stuff. I'm very glad we have the last one for LSU. Are you what? I'm sorry. Go with them and sit somewhere, and then if you have the first one, you have to go back to class. All right, guys, what's the other side of my triangle? And is it positive or negative? Negative. I don't really need that here. Hey, guys, up here. This is tricky if you don't pay attention. Chris. Okay. All right, I'm going to write the formula first. Cosine theta over 2 is plus or minus big square root of what? 1 plus cosine theta all over 2.
Yes.
Well, that's what we have to figure out in this. It's slightly different than the last one. I told you where theta was, correct? Theta is in the 4th quadrant. That's not where theta over 2 is. Okay? Yes, you're going to use that. But we still have to figure out the plus or minus in front. So, what you can do, pick any 4th quadrant angle. So anything between 270 degrees and 360 degrees. What would you like to pick? I'm going to pick 300. Okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend theta equals 300 degrees. Okay? Why are we pretending? I need to know what is theta over 2. If theta is 300, what would theta over 2 be?
170.
150.
150.
Okay.
I said 150.
I heard 170.
Yeah, he said that. Chris said 170. Bro, what?
All right. Either way, what quadrant is that in?
Third.
2.
We learned I cannot count numbers, so.
It's tricky, guys.
I'll never do my hair again.
Okay, so that means theta over 2 is in the 2nd quadrant. We are finding the cosine of theta over 2. So in the 2nd quadrant, is the cosine positive or negative? Negative. Okay.
So does that mean it's
So-
3?
How does it work if you're pretending?
Okay, so anything, that's a fair question. Like, but why? And no matter what you pick from here, when you divide it by 2, and it
So it's the opposite of what it is. So can I use that number every time?
yeah. 3rd quadrant doesn't end up in 1st.
Oh, wait, so like, now that we know this rule, like we don't have to be pretending.
Right, you just know.
Like in the future, like,
Yeah, that's fine.
like you don't have to write this down.
Weird, right? Okay, so now we're going to fill in the formula. 1 plus, okay, back to just theta. Do we know the cosine of theta?
Yes.
What is it? 3 over 5. Guys, worry less about your hair and more about this. Okay? I'm going to turn the 1 into 5 over 5. That's So my negative out front. 5 over 5 plus 3 over 5, that's 8 over 5. Instead of writing the divided by 2, what can I write? Times 1/2.
Not labeled.
So 8/5 times 1/2. Is everybody okay with that turns into 4/5 when we reduce?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that the answer?
We are not simplified yet. So what's the square root of 4? Then we still have the root 5 in the denominator. What do you think we have to do with that?
Oh,
Rationalize is the word we're looking for.
Yeah, that's the word.
That thing, and you multiply, and there's square root. Yeah, that thing. There is your answer.
Guys, Christian didn't
It's exciting. All right, let me stop here for a second. Any part of that you're going, what? Did I lose you anywhere?
you didn't lose me.
You lost me 5,000 weeks ago.
Oh, wow, that's long ago. Well before I knew you. All right, any questions on 2? Yeah. To figure out where theta over 2 is, you just pick any angle in the third or in the fourth quadrant. You could pick 358 if you wanted. Okay. All right, let's try again. Wait.
Now it's Quizzy time.
Not.
Oh, no, that's not useful. That's pretty good.
All right, we good? Yeah.
Give it.
All right, you guys try this one. Can you read that? That says 3 pi over 2. So this is just like number 2.
Sin
Like pretend that they
0 with a 1 in the middle over here.
It's on the second one. Or no, it's the third. Really, it teaches us.
Yeah, why not? To actually be able to it doesn't but they're all
Oh my god.
So a triangle for it. It's the same triangle as last time.
The last question.
What are you asking for?
Okay, so
Okay. You can do it. You already did it, so. A lot of it is just understanding it, though, too. Like, I'm not great at memorizing things, so I figure out, like, okay, what part of this can I, like, think through so that I don't have to memorize? There is some memorizing there, but like the tangent one, I don't memorize it because I just know it's the sine over cosine. I look for shortcuts like that anywhere I can find it. You do. There is some of it that you just have to memorize, which is part of the reason why every time I do a problem, I write the formula first. Because the more you write it, it just...
Wait, is there not another pass?
There's only one. We haven't had a second pass since, like, first quarter. I mean, I have it, but I have limited you to one pass. Are we ready, guys? Yeah. Okay, what quadrant is theta in? All right, so when I draw this, okay, what is the other side of my triangle? Negative. Don't lose your negative. That will mess it up. All right, write the formula. Okay, where is theta over 2?
2.
Second, yes. Okay. Everybody okay with theta over 2 being in the second quadrant? Do we see it or not? So you see what happened?
I figured out something completely unrelated.
Oh, okay. Well, good job. If theta's in the second quadrant, is sine of that positive or negative?
The sign would be positive.
Positive. Second quadrant, sine is positive.
Wait.
Do you see it, Alex?
Wait, the last one was like.
Because it was cosine of theta over 2. Do you see the difference? Okay. All right, then I've got 1 minus. The cosine is negative 3/5.
Whoa. So it's like plus 50. We're not gonna do that yet though.
All right, so I've got 8/5. Divided by 2 is like times 1/2. Did you notice it's the exact same numbers as the last problem?
Interesting. Very, very.
Oops. Okay. Positive 2/5 over 5. Oh, I remember. I mean, it's the same numbers as the last one, so I just was like, yeah, okay. Positive, because it's sine in the second quadrant. Okay. All right, only one more example to go, guys.
Oh my god.
See, we're making it. Anybody, anything on this one? Tyler, are you good?
I'm good.
What are you doing? Are you paying attention?
Quattro. Oh, there's no give it. Just time.
Okay.
Why do you do this?
Is that by biobank?
It is. Okay, guys, is this a dry triangle kind of problem?
Yeah. No. No.
Do I have any info to like given and theta's in this? No, do not draw a triangle. This is like example number 1. So look at your example number 1 and try it. You can use any of the tangent formulas that you want.
Oh.
Wait a minute, but this is confusing to me. I'll tell you what. Because
So I.
for me, it's like
So we're doubling.
that looks like a. What's the not degrees? It's like a.
Radians.
It looks like a radian.
It is.
I know, but then I don't know what cosine
Do it just like we did the first one. Look at the steps we wrote out in the first one and try that. Because we didn't find the sine or cosine of 22.5 degrees.
Oh.
So if we're doubling it, we double just the numerator.
Well, multiplying by 2 would be like times 2 over 1. Just then. And you could reduce that.
Quadrant 2. Wait, what?
Right?
Yeah, which is something you know, right?
Okay.
Like this is 180.
Can I?
In like one step, I think I did something. I got this. Do I like have to turn this into a degree or anything? Because I just like no, just I'm using this. No forever. So it's just something. Oh, but like,
Yeah. Look at number 1. Just like that.
Yeah, every day.
So depending on what you're or not, you have to decide. If you pick one of these, that's everything in the credit data. Yeah. Guys, what is theta in this problem?
What? Oh, wait, this is actually.
Okay. Yes. Theta over 2 is this 5 pi over 8, right? Like, side note here, theta over 2 is the 5 pi over 8.
So it's 10 pi over
10 pi over 8,
12 pi over 4.
yes. And is 5 pi over 4 something you know?
Oh, and 5 pi over 4.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What? There's a lot of weird rationalizing.
I did not
So you tell me. No, yes. Oh. I didn't know that was the artist of the fly. Oh, they're both. So just forget the degree. How many degrees? I thought we're done. So after you find one, we're done.
Okay, that makes sense. I was like, that was 16 right, like, from all of that.
Wait, 2 we're not done. Where are you? We found 1. It's not what?
Am I on the right track?
Oh, I just. I didn't like something else. Yeah. Isn't that just still 1 instead of 2 or 2? I'll figure it out. I don't know who else to go for.
Yeah. That is correct. And then the rationalizing.
Wait, this is late.
Yeah.
So we found 1. You've been waiting. I don't. Oh. So we have this.
Oh, so you just pulled out the beautiful unit circles, and take this is over 4, what would be plus or minus 1.
The tangent of 5 pi over 4 is 1. That's not what I'm asking you for. I'm asking you for the tangent of 5 pi over 8. So, well,
Not this.
but the theta you use over here.
So now we know
5 pi.
That makes sense.
Okay.
So, we're looking at size.
Okay. 5 pi over 8.
So now.
What is the difference in
This is really what I exactly.
That's where it is. You know this is pi, right? Is it also 8 pi over 8? Okay. Pi over 2 is 4 pi over 8. So 5 pi over 8 would be somewhere in here. So in the semi-quadrant, is tangent positive or negative?
So, if it's the tangent of 5 pi over 4 is negative, then where do we go from here? So there's 6. So this, okay.
Okay, you're getting here.
This is what it's going to give us. Can I just make this one over two?
What's that?
Alright, this is my
Is it negative?
Something's negative. I can't remember.
Because
Something is negative. If you're here, stop. I'm not that extent of direction.
That's the correct.
Let me think.
So,
All three formulas give like so try to answer. So I'm like, okay, yeah, that's right. All right, guys, I'm gonna go through this one in several ways. Okay. First I'll plug it into, I think a lot of you use this formula, sine of theta over 1 plus cosine theta. Did some of you do that? Yes, okay. So that means the sine of 5 pi over 4 over 1 plus the cosine of 5 pi over 4. So that's negative root 2 over 2 over 1. It ends up being minus root 2 over 2. Are we okay with that? Is this where negatives happen? What's wrong?
no, that's what I have. Then the circle thing you drew.
Oh, that was if you used a different formula. That was if you did the plus or minus way with the big square root.
I was confused, and then
Okay. All right, this one I'm turning into 2 over 2. There's so many 2's in this problem. Okay? You okay to that? All right, then I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. So negative root 2 over 2 times 2 over 2 minus root 2.
Oh, I have failed.
Those would cancel out. I need more room.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't cancel those.
I didn't cancel. I'm gonna fail.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. If you are getting to this part, in theory, you should rationalize from here. If on your assessment you're getting here, I'm probably going to give you most, if not all, of the points for that. You're doing well. Let me just show you the rationalizing. It'd be times the conjugate. So you would get negative 2 root 2 minus 2. And then at the denominator, you're left with 4 minus 2, which is really just 2. Do you guys see how everything has a coefficient of 2 here? That's when you can actually cancel out the 2's. Every single thing has a coefficient of 2. So one potential answer is negative root 2 minus 1. Again, if you got to here, kudos to you, okay?
Thank you.
even more like confetti for you, okay?
That and then
So your sign messed you. Okay.
yeah, because I had it right the first time, and then I don't know why. And I was okay.
Oh yes, sorry. I'm gonna go through the other ways too. Did anybody use the 1 minus cosine over sine formula? Yeah. I think I did. Okay, I'll go through it. Let me wait a second here though, make sure we're okay. But is that the formula you did with degrees? Is that the formula you did with degrees? Okay. You good, Fortune? Are you good? Okay. All right. So another option. I'm going to go through this one a little more quickly because we already know what the thetas and everything are. So that ends up being plus root 2 over 2 over negative root 2 over 2. So if you got to 2 plus root 2 over negative root 2, good. Okay, rationalizing, this one's easier rationalizing. You multiply by root 2 over root 2. And you get 2 root 2 plus 2 all over negative 2. Which, again, when you divide, you get negative root 2 minus 1, which is the same. You guys see it? Samesies? Okay. A little tricky. I like that formula better with just the sign in the denominator because you won't have such a complicated rationalizing piece to do. Okay. And then the final option is you could have done the plus or minus 1 minus cosine theta over 1 plus cosine theta. What quadrant is 5 pi over 8 in? 2. Is tangent positive or negative in quadrant 2? Negative. Our theta was 5 pi over 4, so I end up with 1 plus root 2 over 2 over 1 minus root 2 over 2. 2's everywhere. Do we see that these 2's are going to cancel? If I flip and multiply. Guys, this one I will not make you rationalize. Because you have a radical in a radical.
But I had that, but it was reversed. I had it on the bottom.
Did you start with the formula reverse, maybe?
No, I did this. I did this.
Okay, so for cosine of 5 pi over 4, did you say positive root 2 over 2?
I did positive 2 on the bottom. And then, oh.
See what I mean?
Oh, that's my.
Okay. So that's all. You're doing it right. Okay, guys, that was a lot with one problem, I know. Questions on any of it? I would accept any of those answers. Good times, I know. Okay. You have, I'll be done. 12:50. Okay, so you've got a little over 10 minutes. Your Delta Math is up. Some of you are very behind on Delta Math that need to get to work. Chris, put your phone away. Because I said so. Don't lie.